Hey there everybody, welcome to my channel. So today's video, we're gonna be doing some ACT math actually. So I feel like ACT math has definitely been a little bit lacking on this channel. So the ACT is coming up this Saturday, June 11th. So I figured, why not try some challenging ACT math problems? So all of these problems, I would put them into like the number properties category, like working with numbers, kind of seeing what statements need to be true about those numbers given the properties that we're provided with. All of that really fun and exciting jazz. Also, guys, please note that all of the links for our upcoming crash courses and our SAT math workbook will be linked down below in the description. So, without further ado, let's head into today's video. All right, so what we want to know about number properties questions is that oftentimes these questions will appear towards the upper level questions, so 45 to 60 typically speaking, because they are a little bit tough and they do require that you understand the properties, and it's a little bit abstract to think of it like that. So let's begin with question 57 right over here. So we know that these are all real numbers, so nothing imaginary. Given that a times c equals 1, b plus c over d is undefined, and a times b times c equals d, which of the following statements must be true? All right, so I want to start out with the fact that b plus c over d is undefined. So what it means for an expression to be undefined is that the denominator is going to be equal to 0. So let's just write that down. So undefined means that the denominator is equal to 0. So here they're telling us if the denominator here is equal to 0, that means we have found out here that d is equal to 0. Okay, and then when we check out this other part that they gave us here, a, b, c is equal to d, so they tell us that a times c equals 1. So because we're multiplying, we can shift the terms around. So we can rewrite a times b times c as a times c times b is equal to d. That's exactly the same thing. So a times c we know is equal to 1. So 1b is equal to d. So that's telling us then that b is equal to d. So then we can go ahead and just plug that in. So if we know that d is going to be equal to 0, we know that by that same logic, b has to be equal to 0. So that gives us as an answer choice then option D. All right, and finally we have question 46. I don't know about you guys, but I hate when they write the inequality like going that way. I always like it going that way. So I'm just going to rewrite this, that b is greater than a. I don't know what it is about that notation or reading in the opposite direction that we read English, and it just bothers me. All right, so b is greater than a, then a minus b absolute value is equal to which of the following? Okay, so what we want to notice is that whatever we get inside right here is going to be a negative number. Because if b is greater than a, think about this. Let's say a is equal to 6 and then b is equal to 8. You would be doing 6 minus 8, which is going to give you negative 2. So of course that value is going to be positive given the fact that we put absolute value bars around it. But the point is, before we take the absolute value, we are dealing with a negative quantity on the inside. So this is going to give us a positive 2 after applying that. All right, so let's go ahead. So if you could see, you could plug in numbers really easily for this. So f is saying it's going to be equal to a plus b. That would be 8 plus 6, 14. Definitely not. G would be negative 14, so that would be a no. H is saying the square root. I have no idea where we introduce a square root because that's totally not what's going on here. But the square root of negative 2 here, first of all, that would give you an imaginary number. So no, that's not going to work. J is saying a minus b, which is not true because if this is a negative number with absolute value bars, it becomes positive. But if there are no absolute value bars, it would stay as a negative. So it can't be J. The reason why it's got to be K is because putting a negative outside of a value that's already going to be negative makes it positive. That's kind of like the same thing as implementing an absolute value bar, is that you negate the negative to make it positive. Same exact thing as using absolute values to make it positive. So you get -2, which would give you a +2. So choice K therefore has to be correct. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope that you learned a lot about the ACT math and how to work with these really fun number properties questions. As always, all of the links for our crash courses and SAT math workbook, again, will be linked in the description below. Thanks so much, guys, for watching. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.